Alright, so on last video the car wouldn't start. I went back through and I figured out exactly what the problem was. And of course I didn't film it. But on this video I'm going to show you what I did so you can avoid this issue yourself. Hello and welcome back to Krusty's Fabrication. Now I want to go ahead and explain what the issue was from the last video where I couldn't get a start after doing the timing and the wiring and all that stuff and finally getting it ready to test start. Let me show you what it was. Alright, so if you guys remember, I was doing the VVT, the ABCS delete, and I was getting rid of these cam gears and going to one like this, just a non-ABCS one. I also changed out the crank gear, going back to the 6-tooth design. This is the one that I needed for the standalone ECU, the Speedy EFI. And then obviously this is the ABCS gear. So when I was doing all the research on doing the ABCS swap, I remembered I needed this gear for the standalone ECU, so I needed the other one to go back to because the ECU that I have to run from the twin turbo setup required the 6-tooth design. What I failed to do was look at the back trigger of the cams. Now if you look at this one, this is the stock ABCS gear, which also went with the stock 6-tooth crank gear. As you can see, it has the 3 notches here, 2 notches over here, 1 notch here. What I failed to do was look at the back of the non-ABCS gear, which only has a notch here and a notch here. This gear actually goes with this crank trigger setup. So what I went ahead and done was ordered another gear, and I ended up having to import it from I think was a Japanese importer that's out of Canada. This is a 7-tooth design just like the ABCS gear. Got it, you know, I did a little painted black to match all the other cams, and I just stuck it in, retimed everything, got everything put back together. The way that I found out that it was that gear was actually by mistake. Like, I accidentally stumbled across it. What I was doing to try to diagnose the problem was I was coming in here and I was using a known working plug wire and a brand new plug and testing each coil one by one by basically grounding it out, pulling the fuel pump relay and turning it over and watching for spark. What I noticed was I was only getting spark on this cylinder, which is the number 1 cylinder, and it was only happening maybe once every 5 revolutions. This one got no, number 3 got no spark, 2 got no spark, 4 did get a spark, but it was very weak, and it was only like every 10 revolutions. So I was like, why am I only getting spark on 1 cylinder? So I started looking at the crank triggers again. I was like, what am I missing? Maybe, I was thinking maybe this sensor right here went bad, and I was gonna look up a new sensor. And then it just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb as I was doing the research and looking on Google. I kept on seeing 6-tooth, 7-tooth, or 6-7, or 6/7, and it kept on talking about a 7-tooth cam trigger. So I looked up that and specifically saw a Subaru gear. So I was like, okay, let me order that and see how it does. And that's part of the reason why I didn't film it, is because I was just like, it was in the middle of the night, so I was doing all this. It was too dark for filming. And I ended up doing the actual repair kind of like over lunches at work, so I didn't really have enough time to film. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get on to some of the other repairs that I got planned for today. I do got a hole in my muffler. That's probably what the major first thing I'm gonna do is, but I want to check out the fuel pressure because I'm not sure. I think I'm running lean, but I only have the wideband hooked up, so we'll see how that happens. 40. I'm told that I need to disconnect the vacuum line, and it should be at about 43. Okay, that's actually pretty close to what it said it's supposed to be at. As I get back to the close here, you can hear the exhaust leak. Let me put you right here and I'll give you an exhaust sound. Maybe I'll even start it back up. That's the first time I've had it struggle to start there for a second since I got it running. Now, I don't have a idle air control valve, so I did set the idle with a screw, which is located right there. I basically got it to start, and what I did was I just kept adjusting the screw until I could start without giving it gas. That's all I did, just minor adjustments until it would start on its own. I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up. I'm gonna lift the front end, back end up on ramps, and we're gonna drop the exhaust so I can make the repair. I wish I had a leaf blower. Alright, so now I get down here. Let's see what size we got. I think that's let me show you the hole. So this is the hole we're hearing that leak out of. I was making a kind of an adjustment when I got this exhaust put on. I got this muffler put on. It's just one of those cheapy MagnaFlows that you can buy from any parts store, and I had a exhaust shop put it on. He made me this pipe right here, which comes up to here, and this was the stock exhaust right here, and then that pipe right there was stock all the way up to the front. He made right there all the way to the front to the header. So I had this piece right here was stock. That's pretty much it. So he welded this pipe on. Didn't actually do that great of a job, to be honest. There was holes and stuff. And then he welded my muffler on backwards. So I took it upon myself to take this down. I think I had originally cut it there. I think is the reason why it's like thin, and I tried to weld it back and it, well, whatever. So I think I had originally cut it here and took it off, and then I cut the welds loose from here, which was actually over here, and then I flipped the muffler around. I did a pie cut here, you know, several cuts around it to squish it down to this size, so I didn't have to like have a big gap there to fill. And yes, I know my welds suck, but hey, this is what it is. And then I kind of welded this up a little more solid, and then I was trying to fix this when I welded it back. It did okay up here, but down here the metal just got too thin from when I was trying to clean stuff up, and it just blew through. So I'm gonna make a patch panel that'll just go over this like this, and I'll weld that up. But first I need to get this off. Alright guys, so I ended up dropping the nut in this pile of leaves, and if you happen to be one of those people that has to work outside and you got leaves like this, get you a big old magnet. This is off a big old subwoofer. I'll be able to find it. Also, that dubby stuff I be pushing all the time, when you run out, makes a good catch for the put your bolts in. That way you don't lose them. See what I'm saying? Found it. Put it in my W box. Yeah. Bonus with the openness, I got the blue raspberry flavor. It's smelling really good under here right now. I need a wobble extension. There it goes again. I can't not drop these nuts. There it is. I should just leave this under here for now. That way maybe it'll fall on it. Yeah. Alright, cool. Oh, and then I dropped the bolt. At least I saw that one, though. Do this. And then wiggle that one out. There we go. Alright. Y'all want to hear it without the muffler on it at all? I think it's even louder. I actually think it was not as loud when it was straight header. Just for the fun of it, here's what it sounds like with no muffler on it at all. Alright guys, so this is what I'm thinking. I got this old muffler. This is actually the muffler that goes on my Dodge Shadow. Right now it's just running with no muffler, kind of like a side pipe out the exhaust at the side. I don't want to cut the whole thing up because I would like to use this if I necessarily need to. I don't know. I don't even know if you can see this, but I'm thinking about cutting the metal I need off of these tips because I don't really like these tips anyways. So what I'm thinking, pull this on. Good Lord, this is actually a lot lighter than that one too. Yikes. So pull this over here, get a rough size estimate. I'll cut it out and then I'm gonna flay it open and wrap it around. That's literally how I'm gonna make the fix. So with that being said, I think probably cutting it right here at this where it starts to dip in from the bend, and then I can make a cut lengthwise like this, wrap it around it, start welding. Keep in mind, guys, this exhaust that I'm putting on the Subaru is not meant to be permanent. It was at one point when I first started the build, that was going to be the permanent exhaust, but I've learned a lot of new cool things that I want to try. And with that being said, this is just a temporary exhaust to get me on the road. This build is also only version 1 of this build. Once I'm done getting it going and driving it around, I'm going to get the Omni going, and then once the Omni is going, then I'll bring you back for version 2. Okay, now you can actually see what I was going to do. I was going to cut this open, and I'll just kind of bend it out a little bit until it'll wrap around the part over there. And then I'm just going to weld it in, weld all the way around it. It's going to patch it. So let's get that started. Y'all know how hard it is to deburr something when you're shaking and you don't have a vise or anything? Alright, so the fun part is going to be matching this up to the size. I do got to spread it out. So let me get some pliers. So let's see if I can get this kind of spread out a little bit. It's kind of why I like doing this the way I'm doing it now, because I have very limited resources, limited tools, limited budget. So this proves that if I can do this, anybody can do this. I mean, you got to have a little bit of mechanical knowledge too, you know. That way you're not just guessing. So I'm gonna do it at this test pit. Got to flare it out a little bit. See how it goes. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm trying to go around this. Let's see. It's actually pretty good. Probably do a little bit of tapping. Get the BFH out. Maybe do a couple tacks to get it down, and then just start tacking it in place until it welds where it needs to be. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the surfaces real quick. Best as I can. Also, guys, I want to apologize if you're getting a bunch of wind noise. I do apologize. It is really windy out today, but also I noticed that the wind filter on the GoPro was causing my voice to kind of cut out a little bit, get real soft, and sometimes you couldn't hear it. So I'm doing this as a test to see if it helps with the voice, at least until I can get a microphone. It's hard for me to balance and do this and that and everything together. Okay. Hopefully that's a strong enough tack. Too bad this isn't big enough to go around that. Get a nice little squeeze on her. How are we looking over here? Looking like some gap jumpage. I need like my stool. Guys, I really need a new welding helmet. It's hard for me to see where I'm going. As you'll see, I actually kind of overrun where the end of it was there a little bit. I probably do have some pinholes still there, but I'm gonna grind it down and kind of see where we're at, and then we'll fix it from there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get the grinder out. We're gonna see how bad I did. All right, guys, there's a few little pinholes here and there, but honestly, I think it's like right here around the edge, like right over in here. I know this don't zoom too well. Like, I think there's one, like, I don't know if you can see it, like right there. I think that's far enough away from the main hole that it's not gonna matter. So honestly, guys, like, even though it's like booger welded, it's on there. I don't think it's gonna leak. I might just throw a coat of paint on it and throw it up under the car. Or actually, I'm gonna throw it up under the car and then I'll paint it, because that's how I roll. All right, guys, the exhaust is back on. Let's see how she sounds. You'll be the first to know. Yeah, that's much better. Wow, that's a much better sound. I like it, guys. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like on the video, I can't stand it back here when it's getting revved. Alright, guys. Mission accomplished. All right, guys, I'm gonna set you down right over here. I'm gonna go ahead and pressure wash the car and just get it a little bit cleaner than it used to be. By the way, no, it's not warmer out. It's still freaking cold. Alright guys, so there's been some changes gonna happen. First change is I'm gonna have to put the Subaru to the side for who knows how long. I'm already forgetting what the last clip was because it's been so long since I filmed it. I think it was me messing with the exhaust. I did get the car running, but it wasn't running great. Come to find out, the stock ECU just doesn't want to communicate with the aftermarket injectors I have. Who would have known, right? I should have known. I tried to get a hold of the stock intake manifold so that I can run the stock injectors that the ECU is looking for, and we did the trade. I went to go put the factory intake manifold on that matches the computer, and that's when I learned about the different generations of the EJ20. The factory intake manifold for the twin turbo setup was a phase 1 motor from like a 96, and the motor that I have is a phase 2, so the intake manifold has a different bolt pattern. So this is the phase 2 intake manifold. You got the two that are here, which are offset from one on each side here and back here. The phase 1 just has them in a straight line, so I couldn't fit it. Also, the injectors were actually hitting on the ABCS solenoids, so I went ahead and traded back, and for the time being I'm just going to get it running to the same effect that it was. It'll idle, but it runs lean because it doesn't know what to do with the injection. So I'm going to put the wires back on, get this thing to fire up. I'm just going to have it set up like that so that I can move it around in the yard, because I can still move it. I've drove it down to the gas station, but we're going to go ahead and get this back to running again and push it to the side for now, and then we're going to jump on back onto the Omni. Also guys, there's been something that's been weighing heavy on my mind. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing YouTube. It's just that simple. I have been uploading for almost a year now straight, once a month. I know that's not super consistent to get my content out there, but I've been trying to make sure that it's every month on the first of the month. That way y'all know, hey, this is when it's going to drop. This is when I could go watch. I have seen my subscriber count go down instead of up. So I'm actually losing subscribers the more I post. As a test to see if it was something about the algorithm, I went ahead and downloaded all the videos that I have previously uploaded and uploaded them to a second channel. I haven't promoted that channel or anything, and I'm getting the same views roughly with only 30 subscribers instead of the 800 plus that I have now. It's literally 800 subscribers less than my main channel, and I'm getting the same amount of views on that channel as I am on this channel. And actually the Will It Run video that I did on the Subaru actually got more in less time. So I'm thinking about quitting YouTube, and a lot of that comes down to lack of growth, lack of views, lack of interactions. You guys just ain't watching. I look at the analytics and it says the average view duration is about 2 minutes. So that means that either you're clicking on the video to see if it's something you want to watch and you just don't like it, or maybe you click on it and skim through just to see if there's something you want to watch. Either way, nobody's watching, nobody's commenting, nobody's liking. It makes me feel like I'm wasting my time. So, we'll see how good this video does. I'm gonna upload it to both channels, see which one does better, see if I get any interactions with it. Because honestly, if you're one of those people that just kind of lurks and just watches the video and doesn't comment, yeah, it gets me a view, but it doesn't really help me out. So I need comments, I need likes, all that stuff, you know. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get this back together and get it running, and we'll see what's going on. Alright guys, so like I said, we got it running. It runs pretty decent on idle. Got a slight, almost cammy, choppy sound at idle. But when I go here to rev it up, sure, now it's going to show off. I don't know guys, it wasn't running very good earlier. I know if I take it down the road it's not going to run very good, so. But yeah, I got it running. Like I said, I'm going to cut the video there because I don't want to do an Omni video on a video that I've already done the Subaru with. So I guess depending on how this video does is what will decide whether or not I continue on. If you want to save the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, and until next time, have a good day. Peace. I have no clue whether this thing is running good or not.